Hey guys, I'm Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be taking you on the journey of comparing Vinted and Depop when it comes to selling some of the items that I've made. Comparing like the pros and cons and the process of like taking pictures and adding those as listings to both Depop and Vinted and seeing which one works better. So if you're interested in finding out more, then make sure you keep on watching. So I have like a bunch of clothes that I want to add on to Vinted or Depop, but I don't want to just take basic random pictures. So I'm going to use a term called flat lay photography, as you can see here. So I'm laying each of the items on the table, making the background look nice, making sure that the sun is hitting the pictures as well. And then I'm going to use my phone and just take pictures. And I'm going to do that for all the items that I have. And I'm also going to get someone to model the clothes as well. So I have one item, one picture as like flat lay photography, and then I have a few with someone actually wearing them, so you can see what it's going to look like. So a few tips for flat lay photography pictures. The first thing is, I'd say use a plain background, preferably white. If you don't have like a white service that you can use, you can literally buy cartridge paper or just white paper and use that as the background. The second thing I'll say is natural lighting or good lighting is key. So as you can see, I'm taking these pictures in the sun. And the third thing I'd say is get you some props that you can add into the image. So I'm using a plant and an old perfume bottle. So if you have like a candle lying around or anything that is going to make the image look a bit nicer, make sure that you add that in as well. So I'm back and I'm using my one phone to record and the other phone just to kind of go through posting on one. I'm going to start with Vinted and then Depop for the items that I want to list on the platform. And just for reference, when I say listing, I simply mean like posting one of the images and added it as a product onto the website or onto the app rather. So I've downloaded Vinted, I've downloaded Depop, and I'm going to start by adding the image. Let me pull it up as well. So I'm going to start by adding this image onto Vinted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Vinted. So once you're in, this is kind of how it looks. So to add a listing onto the site, you would click the middle button that says sell. What I'm going to do first though, because I want to see what other people have called this item that I'm about to add, which is the ski or the winter head wrap. So I'm going to search winter head wrap headband. I don't know what it's going to come up as, maybe winter hat, just to see what options or to see how other people have coined this. And there's this, for example. So this is what I'm going to add. So it's a faux fur headband. I'm just scrolling down to see if there's anyone else that has added a similar item as well and what they've called it. And then sometimes doing it that way, sometimes it's easy to see what keywords are good to add onto your listing as well. So faux fur headband, I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to click the middle button to add the item. It gives you the option to add up to 20 photos for one listing. I'm going to click add photos. I'm going to scroll down and click on the photos that I want to add. So that's 1, 2. I'm going to click done. I'm going to call it white faux fur faux, can't spell. Oh my goodness. Faux fur winter headband. Right. So I'm using my tiny phone, so it's really hard to type. But we move. Okay. So white faux fur winter headband, and it says describe your item. I've never worn this item. I wore it on the ski. I took it to the ski trip and I didn't end up wearing it. So I'm just going to say never before worn. And it also gives you in the description like an example of what you can add in here. So if it's been worn a few times, you can add that in. If it's true to size, you can add that in. So I'm just going in and filling in the rest of the sections for the item. So the category would be for women, and it's an accessory or hat or headband. For the brand, I'm going to add in Shein because that's where I've gotten the item from. So I'm adding in the correct condition and the size of the item as well. And then in terms of the color, if you add in the color of your item into the title, it will give it to you as a suggestion in the section as well, so you can easily just go through and select the right one. Price, I'm going to add it in as £2. We'll see how that goes. Typically they will give you suggestions of like what other people have paid for similar items as well, so you can use that as a benchmark. So a lot of these Shein headbands are £1, and if I scroll up, sometimes it will give you an example. So say if I put in like £8, it will give you a tip and say that, oh, this item is typically between this price and this range, so you can kind of stick to that. So I'm going to go £2. I'm going to click done. I'm going to select the parcel size, and that is going to be small. And then I'm also going to just scroll through to see if there's anything else I've missed or anything else I need to add. Once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to click upload. Perfect. And that is how you list an item on Vinted. And then once you've done it, it will say item listed. And then I'm going to click later. So once you have added a listing, you can see it through your profile section. So if I go onto profiles, I'll be able to scroll down and it will show me like the headband that I just added and other listings that I have as well. If I scroll down, I can see the item that I've added that was sold. You can also see people that favorite or view the item. So if someone views it, it will show you like the total number of views or the total number of favorites that you've had on the item as well. Granted, if I scroll across, I can see the reviews. I don't have any yet. Hopefully I'll get some soon. And if I swipe again, I'll be able to see the about section. So in this section, I've just added like a brief outline of what my vintage store is about, like why it's here. So it's here for like thrift clothes from my YouTube channel and items that I've made. So granted, in this section, if you're like a vintage person or that's the type of clothes that you're going to be selling, you can add that in here just to give people a bit more detail about what you're about and what they can expect from your channel as well. So in terms of once you've sold an item, I'll talk about that process a little bit because I've sold one item. I shouldn't be that gassed because it's only one item, but I am pretty chuffed. So in terms of like the process, it was quite smooth. So I received a notification to say when someone bought the item, and then they gave me like 5 to 7 days to make sure that I packaged the item and sent it off. So I packaged the item myself. Luckily, I was able to use like scrap pattern paper that I found in the house. So that didn't cost me anything. And then in terms of where to send it, so I sent the package using every parcel shop. And if you're in the UK, you can literally walk down the road and you'll probably find one somewhere. So I went to Tesco Express and they happen to have one. I just searched in like Google Maps to see where every parcel shops are, and it came up there. And in terms of getting the label printed out, I can do that in store for free. I can just slap that onto the packaging and get it sent. No problems there whatsoever. And then after that process, once they receive the item, once they pick it up, they give you like 2 days before they send you the funds. So Vinted will hold the payment that the person's made. And then after 2 days of them receiving it, just in case they have any issues, and after those 2 days, if there isn't any issues, that's when you'll get the payment. So I guess you can say that's maybe a bit of a con, but from the buyer perspective, it's like protecting them in case there's any mishaps or any issues. So I really can't complain about that. Overall, a very smooth, like easy process. Happy that I don't have to pay for the shipping. Happy that the process of listing is so smooth and easy as well. I'd say one of the cons of using Vinted is that the items typically that people list are way cheaper than like Depop, for example. So the items that I know are better quality, I'm adding them onto Depop to see if they work better. So that's a great transition. I'm going to pop into Depop now and I'm going to show you how I would go about listing an item there. So Depop, I've never sold an item on there before, so it's quite new to me. So we'll be going through, I guess, this process together to see how it works. I'll let you know my thoughts and then you can let me know your thoughts in the comment as well. So I'm going to try to do this quickly because my phone keeps telling me that it's overheating. So I'm going to pop into Depop and we're going to add the African print skirt. So for Depop, I should already have an account. So I'm just going to go into continue with Google and sign up here. So I'm just going to start by adding my listing. So I'm just going to click the middle button and I'm going to click start selling. It's asking me for my date of birth, so I'm just going to fill in this section here. So it's asked me to add in my billing details, which I've done. It's asked me to verify my account details, which I've done. I'm just going to connect my PayPal because that's the final step. So I've connected my PayPal account and then it brings me to this page. I know the first thing I want to list on this page is the African print skirt. So I'm going to, again, going to search just to see what people kind of have there. So I've put it in my recent, so I'm just going to click African print skirt and I'm going to see like what kind of prices they have and the kind of description that they have, so I can use that as a guide for my own. So I'm seeing like £100, which is interesting. So firstly, I'm seeing there's a big gap between the price of African print skirts on Vinted versus Depop, because on Vinted it was like £10, but on here I'm seeing like 20, 25, 30. So if you're selling like higher quality items, maybe Depop is a place for you to go to make sure that you get your money's worth for the products that you're selling. And then I'm realizing on this one they've put in like the length of the skirt as well, so that's something that I want to add into mine. So I've had a look around, and then I'm going to go in and add my own listing for the skirt. So I'm going to click on the middle button. I'm going to click list your item. I can add up to 8 photos. So Vinted it was 20, for this one it's 8. I'm going to click on the plus button, and I'm just going to add in the images that I have for this item. So I've added in those items. Now I'm going to add in the description. So I'm adding in the rest of the details for this listing, starting with the description. So I'm just adding in like the title and other bits, following like the format that I saw for the other African print skirts that are listed on Depop. I'm also adding in like the size, the condition, and 5 hashtags, because I can see at the bottom of the description that it recommends adding in those 5 hashtags. So I'm going to make sure that I do that. So next I'm going in and filling in the info section with the category, the brand, the size, the price of the item, and the condition of the item as well. So a great thing that I realized about Depop, so you have like the basic info that you can add in for the item that you're listing, but you can also enhance your listing by adding like the style or the color. You can also add in like the length of the item that you're using, the type of material that you're using, the occasion, so whether it's for like summer or going out or something along those lines, as well as the body fit. So if your item is for petite sizes or tall size, you can specify that as well. So I'm just scrolling through to make sure I've added in all the bits that I want to add in for this, and once I've done all of that, I think I'm done. Post listing, yes, and it's live. So again, I'm taking a screenshot of that as proof of my first item listed, and then it gives you the option to add another list another item, or to be done. So I'm going to click done for that. I'm going to go onto my profile page. So I'm on my profile page. I think the name on Vinted and Depop of my shop is the same, but granted it looks kind of similar. Like you can see your likes, so the items that you like, the items that you've saved, and your reviews for the items that you've had reviews for as well, I'm assuming. In terms of, there's not much that I can say in terms of how it works for delivery, because I've yet to receive an item or receive payment for an item, but we'll see how this goes. So my initial thoughts for Depop and Vinted. Granted, I think Depop is might be a bit more competitive, just because it's been around for longer in comparison to like Vinted. So with Vinted, it's like relatively new. If you add an item, that the people, and because the price is cheaper as well, people are more likely to buy it, or you're having less people that you're trying to compete to have your listing appear in searches. Where with Depop, it's been around for a bit longer, there's more items that are sold here, so it might be harder for me to sell the items on here. We'll see, I'll keep you updated. So we'll see how it goes. I'll do a check-in later on to see like how I've got on with both platforms or both apps, and which one I prefer in the long run as well. Let me know in the comments, do you sell items? Are you interested in like selling or using like Depop or Thrift, or what do you call them, revamped second-hand clothing? If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the sewing tutorial videos or like the business and marketing videos that I upload here as well. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.